Hey everybody, it's Mitch from Broke Boy Garage. Today, I'm going to take the bearings off my old diff and put them on my Mfactory so I can see if it'll be shimmed properly and if I have to order shims. Hopefully not, fingers crossed, we'll be good. The bearings that are on the diff that's in there are in really good shape. Depends whether I tear them up, pulling them out, but we'll find out. Hopefully not. All right, so I got to clean my garage and then we'll get at it. Ready?
Yep.
Alright, so we got a Element all-wheel drive transmission, and I have a Mfactory. Where is it at? An Mfactory K24 front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive LSD. So I've had this transmission apart for a while now. I wanted to make sure that all the gears and synchros looked fine. Everything looks good. I didn't really have enough money to go ahead and build the whole thing right now. So I'm just putting an LSD in it because I could not see myself running one tire fire with 600 horsepower. It just doesn't make any sense. It literally is pointless. It already is pretty much going to be pointless because all it's going to do is spin. But this will help a little bit. And I wanted to get the Quaif because that's what I've had before is a Quaif. But I could not get them. They're on back order, and I've heard really good things about Mfactory, and it was a little bit cheaper too. So we're gonna give that a try, see how it was. I think it was like $800 for that, so it's not terrible. They're supposedly pretty strong, but I have to take the bearings off here, put them on there, take the ring gear, put it on there, and then I need to measure for the shim because there's a shim that goes under there to make sure this has proper clearance and isn't prematurely wearing anything. So we're going to do that today. Wish us luck so we don't have to buy a shim and wait another week to put this together because, man, I would like to see this transmission put together. We got to take out this reverse selector. And this, so there's 4 10 mil bolts that you have to remove. Keep everything together. So this is your reverse selector. Then to pull this out, and of course I'm going to struggle. Pull that up, pull that out. Keep this together. I just don't let it come off. There's no reason to have a bunch of stuff floating around separately. Put this back around. Do some wiggling and take out everything. I just leave it together so I don't got to deal with it. A little bit easier that way if you just kind of sit it all together. And then your differential lifts straight out. Here's a tip for all the Honda boys out there. So if you ever go look at a transmission and someone says it is an LSD transmission, just go over in this hole right here where the axle goes and look down. If it has that bar, it's open. This is an aftermarket LSD, so it has that ring in it, but OEM Honda ones just go straight through. There is no bar. If it has a bar, they are lying to you. This is for all of the D, B, and K series. I'm sure H and stuff, but I've never really dealt with any of that. But don't let anybody rip you off. Make sure you know what you're getting. LSDs cost a lot of money, so people try to sell transmissions with LSDs in them all the time that don't have LSDs. Millimeter 12 point. These ring gear bolts are reverse thread. This thing will break them if you go backwards. Make sure you apply plenty of pressure and take it off like you would put it on. So what we're looking for is anywhere from 0 to 0.004 inch clearance. We don't want it to be perfect like 0 necessarily, but we just want it to be under that 0.004, because if not, it's going to move around too much and it's not going to be good. Just a little bit of oil on my finger, run it on the outside of the race so we don't get stuck up on anything. Take your diff, this side down, long side down, gently. Snaps right into place. If you don't lube it, it might be a little bit harder to get into place. You don't want to force things. Sit it down. So we got the diff in. I put a couple bolts hand tight in the housing, and then you take a socket and you tap this down, not hard, just enough to fully have it seated. Honda has a special tool, but sockets are good enough. And then you push it between the gap of the bearing and the shim, and we are just barely lucky. So this fits perfectly. There's good amount of drag. It's 004, slightly loose, but not loose enough to cause any issues. It's still in factory spec, so that's good news. Put my trans back together and all sealed up. So we got the diff in, got everything as clean as we can get it. It's still kind of gross, but we take a gear set. Like I said, I sat it down. I kept the forks in it so they wouldn't move. The shim is still attached to the input shaft, just like that. We push, get here where you can see it. You put the shift forks in, and everything should just slide into place just like that. Nice and easy. So, going to take and drop our reverse gear. Set it in. If you have this down, you won't be able to get it in, so make sure the 3/4 fork is moved. Let Brock do his professional RTV and make her thick, old son. A little bit thicker than that.
Nah, it'll smush. I'm a professional.
The bolt hole lined up at an angle. The top tabs should be lined up. There's a bigger one that needs to go out. And hopefully I don't struggle so much this time.
Alright, so we updated it, took all the old RTV off. You know, this is nowhere near as pretty as mine was. He just kind of slobbed it on there. But we're gonna go round 3 or 4.
So we're back now. So I had some issues aligning the shift forks up. I got everything taken off, re-lubed, all that. And I got it to go down by lightly tapping it. Finally, I'm able to take a flathead and move the shift forks freely. So when I first put it down, I think it wedged it a little bit, so the shift fork wouldn't move. You don't want to tighten it down like that because you'll destroy everything. So took a couple tries, we got it. Now we're going to tighten that down, and then we have to flip it over. So come here for a second. So there's a snap ring right here. You get it to where it starts and it can hold itself open. You tighten everything down and you flip it over, and you just lightly tap it and it moves the counter shaft down to lock that snap ring. Take it like this. Don't do that on concrete. But now, locked in place again. And our transmission is 99% together. So this bolt right here is for the pin for reverse. Goes right through here. That's why we had to line that up. Take this. Good right. Okay, so the top here. An H14 for this. Take a little bit of our RTV.
Instead of thread sealant like you should.
That's what this is what you do. So quit talking that slap. So usually you use Honda Bond for this, but like I said, Ford stuff's what I got. Snug, don't gotta over tighten it, don't take much. Wipe off the excess. I'm gonna get aftermarket because I used the ones I had on my CRV, but for now, I'll just put the stock ones in so it's sealed up. 3 balls go in the hole. There's a little spring that sits up against them. It's what gives the that nice clicking feel whenever you shift. The balls sit in and the springs sit up against them. These are 12 mils, I believe. Correct. Just a little bit over tight. A little bit over hand tight. And then those are good. Transmissions together, other than speed sensor and that stuff, and then the lock for this. But I still want to clean this stuff, and I'm just going to wait to put it on because I might end up replacing the spring and stuff in here. So there's no reason for me to put it on because I can do all that while it's in the car. As this sits, it's ready to bolt to the motor and at least sit in the car, minus the speed sensor and that reverse and all that good stuff. So that was my terrible experience putting an LSD in my transmission. So I got the diff put in, everything sealed back up. Definitely struggled putting the case back on. I haven't really ran into that issue before, but I knew just it wasn't feeling right. Always, 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 if it doesn't feel right, don't send it. But we ended up getting it right. I ran it through all the gears. It spins fine. So, like I said, I need to put the shift selector in, but I'm going to wait because I'm going to put upgraded springs in that. And then seal that stuff up, and it's good to go. I can put the clutch on the motor as soon as I get the front cover and the oil pan on, rear main seal, and we can bolt this thing together, and we'll be about ready to put it in the car finally. I've been waiting real long for this. So, like I said, I've been working on this for probably about 1.5 years. So it's a big step getting it sat in the car, because all it is odds and ends after that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see how far we can take this engine. It'll be a lot more fun when we can rip it and do some videos of some burnouts and some pulls. But thanks for watching. See you guys later.